Hello, 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 and welcome to a new episode of DR95 Lite. And whoa there, new face that you're seeing, partnered with a familiar face that you've probably seen in past episodes of DR95 podcast before. Well, hello, I am Mackie and a first time host here for DR, and I'm a second year ABMEM student and been part of the content team of DR95. And I am joined by my partner.
Hey guys, I'm Cholo Loron. I'm a host here at DR95 and welcome to our installation of DR95 Lite. So, Maki, what are we
Yes,
going to be
sir.
talking
Okay.
about today?
Okay, so one of our common interests between me and Cholo is
Yes,
music,
sir.
and it's a common thing with every music genre that there will always be debates between the old heads and the new heads. Those
True.
debating that which era is better, basically,
Mm-hmm.
right? Am I right? That exists for every
I think
genre,
so.
but one common genre between me and Cholo is hip
Yes,
hop.
sir.
So our debate today is which era of hip hop is better, the 90s or the modern era?
Modern, bro.
So,
I'd,
Cholo,
I'd
what
say
are you
I'd say
siding?
it's modern.
Oh, so you're siding with modern. You're siding
Yes,
with
sir.
modern. So, can you elaborate? Elaborate, man. Why modern?
To be honest, I really like modern rap compared to at least the old rap that I know because I think that the modern rap is I guess more diverse and in a sense like the production level is better than from what I've heard from older genres like NWA, mga Snoop Dogg, stuff like that. How about you? Why do you think old rap is
Well, I'm
better?
Well, to give a little context, I actually got into the to rap music because of the old rap and not the other way around, where people discovered the modern,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
they tried to discover
Respects,
the old one.
respects.
Because in reality, I actually used to prefer the old rap over the new rap. It actually took me a while to get used to the modern rap, if you ask
Okay.
me. Because I actually prefer the 90s hip hop era compared to the
Mm-hmm.
modern, so to speak. It's because you brought up one reason for you is that production is better in the modern
Yeah,
era,
yeah.
which I completely agree. That is like a testament to just how much technology has improved for
That
music
is
production.
facts.
But that's my thing as well for why I prefer 90s era of hip hop. It's because the rappers were the ones who were carrying the
Mm-hmm.
songs. Because for me, what I've noticed is that no disrespect to the current MCs right now, there are exceptions. Don't get me wrong, but it seems like in today's hip hop, it's more of the production carrying the track now rather than the rapper being the star of the
Mm-hmm.
show. Yes, there are times where the beat is so good and the rapper is so good, it just blends so well. But what I've noticed with modern is that most of the time people talk about the beat on this song is so sick. Oh, the beat went so hard on this one. I like the beat, the instrumental on this part, this and that. No one's talking about what the MC or the rapper spit on the song. It's always more about how great the beat is, how energetic it is. Compared to the 90s, it was a time where most producers were just really using sampling, which I really respect. Sampling is a art of its own. But back then in the 90s, it was just really the rappers laying forth their lyricism, their technicalities, and their smooth flow. So that's why I tend to side with the 90s era compared to the modern era of hip hop. So what do you think about that,
Uh,
Cholo?
okay. I honestly think that's a respectable opinion. I agree to some extent, but one of the reasons why I like newer rap, like compared to older rap, you're speaking about
Mm-hmm.
production. Some artists now
Mm-hmm.
they actually put some producers on the map, like how Playboy Carti kind of made Pierre Bourne popular. Their most popular songs are together, or various artists like Kanye who put Metro Boomin on the map type stuff. So I don't know. I think
Mm-hmm.
with regard to producer recognition, it would go to the newer rap. But also, I mean, the lyricism of this generation is not really that bad. I mean, you have people like Kendrick Lamar. He has won multiple
Mm-hmm.
awards for his albums such as Damn, To Pimp a Butterfly, and
Mm-hmm.
his other albums. So I
Amen.
don't know. I feel like it's
Mm.
a I feel like it's a really tough decision to make for me. But I'd side with our generation of rap for lyricism. What do you think?
That's an actually
Mm-hmm.
interesting point. That's an interesting point you made, that you say that lyricism in the modern era could at least stay in the same realm or in the same game of the 90s because I actually disagree on that
Okay.
one. Because point to me, besides a Kendrick album or a J. Cole album, point to me a work in hip hop in the modern time where the lyrics hit so hard. Like lyrics itself was the driving factor of a work, of a project, of a record, of an album. For me, it's just as much as I appreciate the modern hip hop, I just can't find that type of ordeal when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
lyricism compared to how spread out great lyricism was during the 90s era. I mean, you look at just the surface area of Biggie, of
Mm-hmm.
Pop,
That's true.
and for me the underrated icon of the 90s hip hop scene, Ice Cube. You check out those guys' lyricism, it's off the
Mm-hmm.
charts. No disrespect to the current people, but they cannot hold a candle when it comes to their lyricism compared to the guys in the 90s. And I'm not just even talking about the surface level, like again,
Mm-hmm.
Pop, Biggie, those big names of the West Coast, East Coast rivalry of the
Yeah.
90s. You can even look back on those underrated ones of the 90s, like Scarface.
Oh wow, I don't even know
You
what
can
that
look
is.
at Mob Deep.
Yeah,
See,
yeah, yeah. That's crazy, man. We're educating each
Those
other.
guys, like the lyricism, and that's just those are just maybe the mid tiers compared to the ones we usually associate with the
Mm-hmm.
90s. Their lyrics are already off the charts compared to the modern guys. So I find it interesting that you pointed that modern can hold a candle with their lyrics compared to the 90s. Because honestly, man, I completely disagree with that with the points I've
Okay,
made.
actually, and if you put it that way, I guess you kind of have a point. But I mean, you have also artists like aside from Kendrick Lamar, you have like people like J Cole. I mean, he also raps about these things regarding like reality, things like police brutality, racism, things like that. So, I think in that sense, with the comparison of both, there's not really anyone that's better. There's only different. So, that's what I have to say about that.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I want to have your take on this
What's up?
actually. Because for me, since we've shifted our conversation from production to the rappers
Yeah.
themselves now, I actually want to talk about this. One of the reasons as well why I prefer 90s hip hop is because 90s rappers just have such an amazing and awe-inspiring aura about them. Like they have their
Mm-hmm.
characters. Like Snoop Dogg, he's a big character. He's a very
Yeah,
animated
that's true.
person. But during the 90s, a lot of characters, but what I've noticed is their characters, their personalities, it reflects on their music as
Mm-hmm.
well with the way they spit, the way they deliver their lyrics. It adds to how punchy their lyrics already are. Their personality reflects on the
Mm-hmm.
music. You listen to any 90s hip hop song and you'll already feel the thump and the energy that they bring because of the personality and the passion that they bring
Mm-hmm.
out. Again, no disrespect to the current rappers, but I have not felt the same energy and the same thump that I felt from how much 90s rappers have brought their character, their personality so much into the song itself that it adds a new layer of fun, of energy
Mm-hmm.
to empower to the songs that they have. So what do you have to say about
Okay. So I think that I'd agree with you on that. Like, I think majority of rappers or artists nowadays, and music, I think they're kind of veering away from like the authenticity of rap. You know how, as you mentioned, like people like Snoop Dogg or people in like NWA, Ice Cube. Their raps actually stay authentic to who they are. Like they're part of that gangster lifestyle. So
that?
I think that yeah, authenticity, 90s rap definitely wins it because nowadays you have like people like mumble rappers, stuff like that. Which I totally respect. I kind of like some of the songs. But they don't really stay true to how they are per se. So you know what I mean? But also like
But
another reason
I
why I think that current rap is better than old rap is that I think that newer rappers they kind of have the attention like the better attention of are like majority of the people, because for example Drake, no one surpassed the amount of hits that the Beatles has except for Drake like in a very long time. So I mean that just goes to show like I don't really remember anyone from the 90s that would drop an album and every song would go number one all the time. So in terms of like
Mm.
people's taste, I think that newer rappers are like I guess they appeal more. I guess I don't know. That's how I feel. How about you?
So, so Cholo, are you saying that just because they sell more, it already means they're better?
Not
Is that your logic
necessarily,
about
but
it?
I'd like to think that people prefer those songs better because I mean it shows, right? Like the charts show more
Mm.
people listen and stuff. So I don't know. That's how I
I
feel.
mean,
Uh,
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, that is the reality of hip hop right
mhm,
now. They're more immersed to pop culture now compared to before. But I want to bring up the I guess one of the big reasons why hip hop is such ingrained to pop culture these days was because of the path that the 90s hip hop game was able to lay
mhm,
down. I mean, Pac became a synonymous name in pop culture back in the 90s. Biggie became a synonymous name in the pop culture because in the 90s. Ice Cube, you know, being part of the rap game then became a celebrity. That laid down for rappers to be able to be more ingrained and to be more known to the public eye rather than just actual hip hop listeners
mhm,
themselves. And I think that again speaks volumes to my point that makes 90s era hip hop and 90s rappers just much better. Because if you bring up the part where modern day rappers are much more
mhm,
successful, I credit that to the work that 90s rappers was able to lay down. But also, I want to give credit to the 80s rappers who basically built that foundation, and 90s was just able to build off around it. So, you know, that just adds to my point of why 90s era of hip hop is just much
mhm.
better.
I can agree to you to some extent, but I don't know. Still, I take modern rappers any day of the week. Like the way I see it, it's not about who
Okay.
did it first; it's about who did it right. So I don't know. Like
Mm,
people
okay.
tend to be listening to
Well,
modern rappers more. So I think in terms of substance, it would go to the '90s. But you know, there are some worthy candidates in today's rap. But in terms of people's taste, I really think that our current generation's rap is better. So I don't know, man. How about
mm,
you?
Chol, Chol admitted it that substance reigns in the 90s era of hip
Well,
hop, but
I don't know. I mean,
we're
there. Yeah, I think that there's definitely more rappers with substance and that are authentic. But I mean, at the end of the day, who has more slaps?
yeah. Well, with that question of at the end of the day, who else more slaps, we'll leave that to you, the viewers, and to the listeners. Well, that I guess reaches the end of our episode of DR95 Lite. Let us know what you think. Which one do you prefer, the 90s era of hip hop or the modern day? I think I won here. Cholo, I think you
No,
lost.
but
You
no,
already
that's
admitted
cap,
that
that's
I
cap.
won.
I definitely won. I definitely won. No contest. But tell
Well,
us your answers
thank you
down
so much
below.
for joining. Yep. So thank you so much for joining us on your 95 Live. Once again, I am Mackie and Gun,
I'm
joined
Cholo
by
Ron, signing off.
and
Thank you for
yep. Thank
watching.
you so much for joining us.
Hi.